I'm Dr. Dana Udall-Weiner, and I'm glad you're joining me. Today, I'll be talking to you about how the internet can impact people struggling with food and body image. I'll cover everything from social media to cell phones, so that you can better understand the positive and negative aspects of using today's technology. Then, in part 2 of this video, I'll teach you a method called supervision without suffocation, so that you can help your child learn to use the internet in a safe and healthy manner. I'd like to get started by addressing the topic of pro-eating disorder websites, because they've gotten so much bad press in recent years, and they're so anxiety-provoking for many parents. Some of you have probably heard of these sites, which are often broken down into the categories of pro-anorexia or pro-bulimia. But for those of you who haven't, I'd like to spend a few minutes going over what they are and why they're so controversial. First, sites are considered to be pro-eating disorder if they glamorize eating disorders, encourage people to develop or maintain eating disorders, or generally support the idea that eating disorders are a viable and laudable choice. Many of these sites have graphic pictures of emaciated girls and women, which are shown to provide thinspiration or inspiration to those wishing to be extremely thin. These sites also give detailed suggestions about how to lose weight and maintain weight loss. So part of the danger comes from the fact that they not only encourage, but teach people how to engage in very destructive behaviors. On a more psychological level, people on these pro-eating disorder sites relate to each other through the topic of their eating disorder. Over time, this practice tends to strengthen the eating disorder identity and discourage a well-rounded and holistic view of the self. In other words, people aren't talking about their favorite book or their dream of becoming a Supreme Court justice. They're talking almost exclusively about having and maintaining an eating disorder. Pro-eating disorder sites are also destructive because they normalize unhealthy behaviors and thoughts and make them seem almost unremarkable. For example, if an adolescent regularly visits websites which describe how to vomit, then it's likely that she'll lose sight of the fact that this behavior is dangerous and potentially deadly, since it's talked about in such blasé terms. Thankfully, there are a wide range of pro-recovery websites which also exist. Pro-recovery sites provide information on topics like how to get treatment or how to stop binging and purging. And they allow people to connect with others who are pursuing the same healthy goals. Sometimes, it's challenging to determine whether a website is pro-eating disorder or pro-recovery, because many sites contain both types of information. For example, according to Dr. Rebecca Peebles of Stanford University, 1/3 of pro-eating disorder sites have content which is considered to be pro-recovery. Now, Dr. Peebles explains this phenomenon that it reflects the contradictions experienced by those who have eating disorders. On some days, they want to get better and escape from the clutches of their illness. But on other days, recovery seems impossible and even undesirable. So there's an internal battle regarding whether to pursue health or hold on to the eating disorder. And this ambivalence is clearly present in websites which contains both types of information that has the potential to both help people heal and to keep them sick. In many instances, websites which seem to have nothing to do with eating disorders can still be destructive and damaging. For example, websites that are theoretically about healthy living sometimes encourage dangerous weight loss strategies that sound an awful lot like eating disordered behavior. And then there are the ubiquitous ads for diet pills and other weight loss products that seem to have taken over the internet. Many of these feature before and after pictures of people who have supposedly transformed their bodies merely by using the product being sold. Of course, in the before picture, the person looks miserable and embarrassed. In the after picture, she is smiling, proud, and triumphant. Ads like these can be extremely triggering for people trying to recover from an eating disorder because they perpetuate the idea that if you lose just a little more weight, you'll find love, happiness, and self-acceptance. But recovering from an eating disorder involves going against that idea and starting to embrace the notion that we're valuable no matter what we weigh.